Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a great 4th holiday, and I guess we go back to a full week of stuff going on this week. Remember, as we go through our agenda tonight, to always remember our mission and our vision statements, and as we make decisions. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Don't see any hearing of delegations or communications to the board, so we'll need a motion to approve the agenda. We don't have any changes, correct?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have a second?
So moved.
Thanks, Jay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. Consent items were sent out to you. You also have a update on some of the bills in front of you to look at briefly. And any comments about the?
Yeah, finances, consent items, all routine. You will see, revenues continue to exceed expenses. This is the month when they far exceed them, and some of that will catch up here as Lisa works to finish out the FY24. But still looks like it's going to be a positive year.
Any other comments from, as you got to look through them over the weekend?
On the behavioral health piece, is that for a full year, is that partial year? Full year? Yep.
What is it?
It's the seasons.
I know, what is it on there?
57.
57.
222. Was it 16? How much was that credit? 13? 13 or 16?
I was going to
That's
say it was
good.
50 was the total, but maybe it was 70.
I thought it was,
Okay.
It varies because they haven't been able to hire and fill all the positions, which our contract is for full-time mental health therapists and 2 youth school workers, which are people in the buildings who are working with the kids. They haven't had those completely full.
Okay.
That's why we got a credit back. We
Gotcha.
also receive money from the Cassuth County Care Team that helps fund that.
Fund that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did just receive the last of those funds today for this next year.
Certainly an area that seems like it's been very helpful, so.
And I had a question, our commercial property insurance is now, it's $497,000.
Yep, that's our EMC.
Per year.
EMC, yep.
Our EMC, which that stuff continues to go up, and that increase is without an increase in our premium. There's an increase in the group part that we're in.
Okay.
It's not an increase from our usage or anything like that. That's just how much.
Your risk pool?
Yes, yeah. History on that, there's really one company in the state of Iowa that insures all schools, CMC Insurance, who we have ours through. There's one other small one that kind of joined together. I wouldn't be comfortable with our district in that at this time. So liability property insurance has become incredibly expensive.
that's also the auto on the workman's comp
Yeah.
and.
All of it.
Our workman's
Oh, that's auto,
comp
too.
mod actually went down.
Yep, that's been going,
Yeah.
we're seeing
Yeah.
that going a lot farther down and then.
So that's been a good thing. We pay that premium out of the management fund
Okay.
every year.
I make
Good
a motion to
questions.
approve the consent items.
All right, thanks. Andrea, do you have a second?
I will second that.
Excellent. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Consent items approved. We'll go right into the superintendent's report then.
Little summer sports recap. The high school softball team currently 9-14 playing tonight versus Forest City at home before they start conference play Thursday at Clear Lake, July 11th. High school baseball team finished the regular season 25-6, 13-1 record in the North Central Conference. They opened their postseason tournament Friday night at home versus Webster City. So I'm looking forward to that for both our boys and girls. Staffing, we always do a staffing kind of recap. Probably in as good a place staffing-wise as we've been in 4 or 5 years. We have one teaching opening. It's the high school English one that's kind of been the burr in the saddle for us for 2 years now. What we've done is we've moved classes around so some different electives are taught through the college rather than from us. That's how we've managed that, but we certainly want to get back to having that position in-house. Even our teacher associates, we're probably 2 or 3 is what we're short right now. We certainly have been short to 10 to 12 at this point. the last few years. So staffing looks pretty good. We need a couple of bus drivers here in the next month or so. Field house update progress, it's going well. Certainly the weather has made that slow down considerably. You can start to see kind of how the facility lays out. The footings for the eastern part of the building, which is where the new weight room and wrestling will be, are almost complete. They're then going to move into the parking lot and the new shot, discus, and long jump area, because those are priorities that have to be completed with grass this fall so that we can use them right away in the spring. The steel building will arrive August 8th. See if we're ready for it to go up at that time or not, but that's when the building will be here. Also, for that building to come here, the parking lot has to be done, because that's where they'll place that steel and where they'll stage it. So a lot to happen in the next month, and we certainly hope for dry weather for that to happen. We did land on a board retreat of August 6th, which is the Tuesday. Some of the topics that we have on a tentative agenda would be our cell phone policy, financial forecast, facility updates, needs and behaviors that our buildings would have, and then kind of a review of the Allison School Safety and what we do, and changes in plans for that moving ahead.
Okay. Any questions for Joe or anything else? All right, then, we'll kind of move on then to the old business. We have a second reading of policies.
Yep, second reading here, which it was, there's just a few of those. The good conduct rule, where our policy aligns with the Iowa Association of School Board recommendations, so there's no changes recommended for that. That's 5034. 5035, corporal punishment, mechanical restraint, and prone restraint. It's recommended that the policy name change from corporal punishment with minor changes that don't affect the meaning. And then 5036, the physical restraint and seclusion of students, our policy aligns with the Iowa Association recommendations. So no changes recommended for 5036.
All right. Any questions or discussions before I ask for a motion? All right, we need a motion then to approve the second reading of the
So
policy.
moved.
Thank you, Lanny. Who's the second? Did I hear a second?
Second.
All right, thanks, Tom. That's great. And so we have motion second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The reading's approved. First readings then.
First reading, again, just a few of those. 5041, student government, there's some updated language in there. You see in the packet that we'll recommend for the second reading next month. Student organizations, no changes to that. 50402 as it aligns with the IASB recommendation. 50404, student performances, some updated language there, as well as in 5046, student activity programs. And we'll choose an option there. So we'll get those finalized and approved for the second reading in August.
And then on the second reading, we'll have what option we
Yep.
selected, okay.
Yep. So that'll probably be in some memos, just talking about some of those options and what we could do, and then I can recommend one for it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. All right, we'll look those over a little bit better and be ready for next month. We're going to go through now B through I, and we're going to talk about some appointments for different coordinators' positions and abuse investigators, and then we'll approve them all at once.
Okay, all right. These are all appointees that are annual. They take place every year. In this case, this year, all of the appointees are the same as the previous 3 years. First is the legal counsel. I would recommend Steve Avery as our legal counsel for the 24-25 school year. Again, this is always done annually. Mr. Avery has been the school district's legal counsel for some time. Second, the equity coordinator. I would recommend James Rodert for the 2024 school year. Again, another annual appointment. He has served in this role in previous years as well. The level 1 child abuse investigator, I'd recommend myself for that. Again, an annual appointment that I have held in previous years. The level 2 child abuse investigator, I would recommend the Algona Police Department as the Level 2 Child Abuse Investigator. Again, something they've done for many years, and Chief Miller is willing for the department to do again. The Harassment Investigator, another annual appointment. I would recommend myself for this. It's an appointment I had last year as well. The 504 ADA Coordinator is another annual appointment that I would recommend myself and all 4 of the building principals, Jared Cecil, James Roeder, Jill Schucher, and Brad Sudol, for the 2024-25 school year. The Affirmative Action Coordinator, I would recommend myself again for the 24-25 school year, an appointment I also held last year. And the Homeless Coordinator, another annual appointment that I would recommend we appoint Jill Schucher as the Homeless Coordinator for the 2024-25 school year. Mrs. Schucher has held this appointment and has gone through the appropriate training to be our Homeless Coordinator.
Just going to say they all go whatever training is
Yep.
necessary.
Yep. Some of them have
Everybody-
specific things you have to go through. That's one of them, and some do not.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve all the coordinators as read.
Yes. Thank you, Andrew. Do you have a second?
I will second that.
Thanks, Lanny. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Appointments approved. We're going to talk a little bit about the legislative platforms and kind of the
Yep,
three
and
we want.
I put the paper copy with you so you can take a look at it. This is something we do every year. The Iowa Association of School Board, they put together their legislative platform, and they take feedback, they take information from all the school districts in Iowa during the months of July and August, so that they can make sure the platform that they are advocating for is what the schools need. It's what they support. And every district does have different needs. So what we do is we first, look through, does the, are there issues that the platform doesn't address? Are there priorities that would more positively impact us than what are included there? And I would say the answer to both of those is no. I think the platform does address what schools are looking for, and there certainly are priorities that are part of the platform that would impact us. I'm going to highlight 3 of those priorities, and again, the board can certainly recommend any others. But these 3, I think, would have a positive impact on the district. The first is teacher recruitment and licensure. We just talked earlier, we're going to start the school year for the 5th year in a row without being fully staffed in our teachers. You don't have to go back very, very far, and that was unheard of. You always started the year with the teachers you're looking for. You could hire teachers as late as July, maybe even August in some cases. Now you need to hire your teachers in January, February, and March. There's just that many fewer in your pool. If you hire in January and February, you can get really good people. We hired some great people for next year. But I think supporting additional tools to attract individuals to the profession, whether that's programs like expanding the Teach Iowa Scholar or intern programs or creating student teaching grants or stipends, anything to recruit people into the field would be valuable. The second one is supplemental state aid. This is the increase per pupil dollars that we receive every year. And, it's really what drives everything for us. Really valuable last year, what the legislature did in increasing teacher salaries, beginning teacher and veteran teacher. But really that had to be done because of so many years of inadequate SSA increases. And I think having that, when you talk about school finance, supplemental state aid being the priority would really solve a lot of the other problems that we then have to Band-Aid for. So again, advocating for appropriate funding for our schools on an annual basis. And then the third one was a question that Andrea asked in the consent items is mental health. A really bright point in the Algona Community School District, I think, is how we've responded to mental health concerns in the past 3 years, in which we contract with Season Center and that employs 3 full-time people when they're able to get those hired, but including the full-time mental health therapist, two youth school workers. However, that is not funded. That's not a funded thing. We used ESSER dollars originally. We get some money from the Sioux County Care Team, like $50,000 they've given towards that. And all of those things will run out after this year. So finding a way, I think, to fund on a per pupil basis, mental health would be valuable as well. So those are 3 things, 3 priorities that I think would really positively impact the Algonquin School District.
And being down at the school board, as a delegate the last years, these are the main 3 that we put off, or decided and moved forward with also. So it seems to be pretty well throughout the state. There's a lot of this recommendations.
The other one that sticks out to me, Joe, and I think it goes along with the teacher licensure and whatnot, is the teacher professional development and retention.
Yeah.
So not only, getting them in, but how do we help them
How do we
not
promote
burn
and
out?
support 'em?
Yeah, support them and,
Yeah.
retain them.
I think absolutely. I think there's no doubt about it. Your professional development needs to be something that supports them but helps them, because just as big a part as recruitment is then retaining teachers. There's a lot of people who leave the profession out of it after a short period of time, and what we do to support young teachers specifically, I think is valuable in retaining them.
I think the IASB also emphasized, and I agree with them, the local accountability and decision-making. Anytime we can make decisions that aren't from Washington for our students or at the state level, the more power we can have locally, I think the better job we can do in providing a better education.
Couldn't agree with you
and
more,
make
Jay.
better decisions.
I really believe the closer to the child you can make the decision, the greater the impact you're going to have. And I think let our public schools make decisions that are best for them, rather than a decision from Washington or even Des Moines. Let us make decisions what's good for us, and Algona is a valuable way to impact kids.
Yep.
I do know at the IB office, we review the information that comes in and design our approach with our lobbyists based on this data. So, and we have pretty good lobbyists.
Yeah.
Are in the state capitol every day during the sessions. So valuable information. We hope that all schools in Iowa will do this. I'm very pleased that we take care of this in July, so we have the data to review.
Yeah, and as Tom knows, with his position on the IASB board, and Rodney, who's went to the delegate assembly a number of times, this is stuff they really use. Tomorrow, whatever we approve as our priorities, at least or I will get on and we'll enter those, and that all populates for them, and they use that information. So it's not just going through stuff. It really is things that they use to advocate for schools.
So what we'd be looking for is a motion then to, send our legislative priorities as teacher recruitment and licensures, SSA, and mental health.
Correct.
I'd be in favor of a motion for those 3 to be sent to the legislative priorities for fiscal year 2025.
Thank you, Tom. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Andrea. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Good discussion we had. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Priority set. Approve an out-of-state football trip.
Coach Jacobson takes the senior football players each year on a leadership retreat out of state to Lanesboro, Minnesota. They would leave the afternoon of August 8th and return the night of August 9th. So we just need to approve that out-of-state trip.
For some reason, I thought we did this last month. This different one?
Yeah.
More names for the.
Yeah, that was the Quiz Bowl.
This bowl one. We've done a number of those lately.
Do they go biking, kayaking,
Um,
or is it like?
They do some kind of obstacle courses, and
Cool.
it's kind of some bonding thing.
Love it.
They don't bike, although I think Lanesboro is a.
Yeah, I just know it.
Place to do that. Yeah.
I make a motion to approve the football leadership trip.
Thanks, Andrea. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the out-of-state football trips. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Trip approved. The depository of naming our, I guess, yeah, resolution naming our depository.
This is an annual resolution where we select the financial institutions to be depositories for the Algonah Community School District funds. This is in accordance with Iowa Code Chapter 12C. This gives Lisa, she's authorized then to deposit our funds in those banks to not exceed those amounts, which would be $20,500,000 at Iowa State Bank, $8 million at Farmers State Bank, $9 million at Northwest Bank, $500,000 at Security State Bank in Laverne, and $20 million at UMB in Des Moines, which is where we have our, Lisa,
Our debt deposit.
yeah, so where our current bonds, I guess, are.
Have those numbers changed at all from last year, Joe?
They have, because of the building project, we had to increase amounts at like Iowa State Bank and
UMB, yeah.
Gotcha.
Is there a deal when Laverne came over that we would keep some money in the Laverne Bank? Does that expire at a certain, like, was
Well,
it so many years we had to keep money there, or?
no, we hoped to, as long as we could. It's really difficult to do because we have to split our funds to do that. And what that means is, our Pebble fund is in one bank, our general fund is in another. And if we took the Laverne dollars and kept them at one bank, and then then our Pebble fund, for example, would be split at two banks. So we would have to reconcile that account from two places every month, and we'd have to draw from that
Actually, that
account.
was three right now, just that one.
So
Oh, geez.
we just tried to as long as we could,
Yeah.
is what we did.
Interest rate wise, it's not great.
Yeah, I just wondered if that was part of the deal. That's probably the only thing keeping that bank open, to be fair.
We don't, right now, we have 178,000 there. This is.
It's just this is a limit.
Yeah.
It's a limit, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll make the motion to resolution naming our depositories at the specified amounts at each bank.
Thanks, Jay. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Thanks, Lanny. We have a motion and a second.
And
Any
we have a
further?
roll call vote.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll do roll call.
Limbaugh.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Vinci.
Yes.
And Mutchett.
Yes.
All right, resolution approved. Looking at our nutrition fund pricing for this year.
Yeah,
coming up.
we approved fees last month, and when we did that, I knew it was likely that we would bring a new nutrition fund pricing increase, and we do need to increase our meal pricing slightly, and that's simply to keep up with the rising cost of food. We have not increased our meal prices since 2019. So, certainly food prices have changed drastically in those 5 years. I recommend a 10-cent increase to all breakfast and lunch. That would take the elementary breakfast to $1.80, the elementary lunch to $2.80, middle school breakfast to $2, middle school lunch to $2.85, high school breakfast to $2, and high school lunch to $2.95.
And with that increase, does that cover our costs, or are we kind of subsidizing that?
No, that would cover our costs. Our nutrition fund is in the positive, and we anticipate with this increase, it will be again.
Well, it's pretty fantastic, 5 years and only a 10-cent
Yeah.
increase with the price of
And I wish I could eat somewhere for
Yeah, we talked
$3.
about that last month. Where are you gonna eat breakfast for $1.80?
Or
That's good.
$3 for lunch. So, all right, we need a motion then to approve the nutrition fund pricing.
So moved.
Thanks, Andrea. Do you have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Lanny. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pricing approved. Open enrollment.
We have 3 open enrollment applications that have met the guidelines for approval. July 1st, those guidelines did change, but all of these applications were filed prior to July 1st when the law changed. So I do recommend these 3 applications.
What did it change to now? There was a date, now there's no date, now we have a date again.
That's exactly right. So March 1st 2025 is the deadline to open enroll for next school year. So
Okay.
we are past all deadlines to open enroll for the 2024,
Okay.
2025 school year. Now, the board could certainly approve open enrollments in or out. I could tell you philosophically, I probably won't recommend outs to you prior to deadlines. But ins, we would, but someone else would have to for them to get here anyway.
All right, we have 3 to approve. We need a motion.
Do a motion to approve the open enrollment applications.
Thanks. Tom, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I knew you would. Thanks, Lanny. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Open enrollment's approved. Just one resignation? Or you got more up there?
I just have one.
Oh, I must have forgot to change it on there. I changed it in,
We can do 2, right?
yeah, they were.
What do we need?
Yeah, Amber Becker is the first
Yep.
teacher associate at Lucia Wallace, and Baylor Naylor.
Bradshaw or Racco or.
Baylor Rochow
Rochow.
was the night custodian for us for a few weeks, also resigned.
I make a motion to approve the resignations.
Okay. We have a second.
Second the motion.
Thanks, Tom. Motion and a second to approve the 2 resignations. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resignations approved. Contracts now.
We have 4 contracts. Demarius Alex Torres as a translator, Nick Lane, Director of Transportation, Shelley Meyer, Teacher Associate at Lucia Wallace, and Lily Divis, Teacher Associate also at Lucia Wallace.
Good.
Is the translator role new, Joe, or are we
We've
replacing?
actually been trying to do this for a number of years.
Yeah.
and just
Almost 3
haven't been-
years.
Haven't been able to do that. So,
Awesome.
Very excited about that. Ms. Torres has subbed for us in similar type roles in the past, so I'm excited to have her work full-time.
It'd be nice to have somebody on
Great
staff.
Yeah. We all wish.
Will she be able to help during registration?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yep, and we'll probably, last year we hired a couple other translators to come in so they can be located at the computers and help people, also for introduced applications and so on. So we'll have multiple translators on site that night.
All right. We need a motion to approve contracts.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, you, Jay and Lanny. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Contracts approved. All right, we're at adjournment. We've ended it. I want to thank Sid Casey for being here tonight, doing our filming, coming back.
Thank
and-
you.
And doing that. So I just need a motion for adjournment.
I'll get us out of here. I'll move
All
to
right,
adjourn.
we have a second.
Second.
Got a motion with Lanny and Andrea. We are adjourned. Thank you both. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, the 6th will be before our meeting, right? So we'll send out
What time are we thinking, Joe?
our retreat. It'll be
I think
before
I
our
had
next
5
meeting.
on there, 5 or
5 o'clock?
5:30.